Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Follow Brand Podcast. This is your host, Grant McGaw, and I'm live at the Levon Innovation Center. And I love this location because I have an opportunity to interact with my guests in ways that I don't do normally. And we're going to have a conversation with Mimi. Mimi is going to talk to us about, she calls it a digest, and it has a lot of components to it that's going to help people with their hair care and some other things you may not be aware of. And this is important, and I want to get this message out. So first of all, we need Mimi to introduce herself.
Well, I'm Mimi. I go by Mimi. My government name was what I say is Merlandi Elaine. I've been in the industry for over 31 years. I started off when I was very young. I was an assistant at a salon. She retired and I took over. So in taking over, it's always been a pride for me to elevate and basically perfect everything that I was taught by her. So, and it brings us to where we're at today, where I've had years of examining and seeing different things on women's hair and scalp. And I've built my own sort of say, quote unquote, statistics, because I have over, now 6 generations of women that I've assisted in hair and scalp treatments.
Now, we got to unpack a lot of that. She's got a lot working there because you're not what you call your everyday hairdresser. You don't just not an everyday salon. You got to unpack to us what makes you different.
Well, what makes us different is that we're a trichology clinic. So your visit with us is not 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Everything is analyzed. Everything is carefully looked into. We need to personalize your shampoos. We need to personalize your treatments. And all of this comes into the part where you come into our room. By the way, I have a clinic. It's a trichology clinic. So every client that comes to visit us, they're in their separate rooms. And inside this room, we go in, we analyze their hair, we analyze their scalp. And with that being said, we take that information as, well, I have, think of it as a doctor's office. I'm a doctor and I have medical assistant. So they go in and they do their analyzation. The analysts on the client's hair and scalp come back to me with information. If something is odd, I go in and I examine it myself. This helps us prepare the client's treatments, their shampoos, their oils, anything that they need at that time. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that your hair and scalp changes even with your emotions. So with that being said, if you come into when you go into a regular salon and the stylist isn't aware of that, they'll use the same old thing every time. And you have arguments of women saying, I've been going there, but it hasn't been working lately. This is because you're changing. And with that change, your stylists need to have knowledge of what's going on so that way they can customize whatever it is that they're using, catering to you. So my motto is not the same old thing works every time for everyone.
I'm taking that to heart. I just learned something. I hope the audience just learned. So your scalp, your skin condition changes with age over time.
Yes.
Right. And you also said something that I'm very curious about. You said you're a doctor.
Yes, I'm a holistic health practitioner. So I specialize in trichology. So my niche is the study of hair and scalp. So not only that, I'm a licensed cosmetologist. So that's just cherry on top. When it comes to cosmetology, that's cherry on top, because if I can't figure out the root cause of a problem of a client's hair and scalp, I can style it however way I want. It'll still present that issue at the end. So my goal is not only to style the person's hair as in the trichology line of it, but my goal is also to study the client's hair and scalp to make sure that whatever it is that we're putting on this hair on your scalp is not affecting it even further for the sake on wanting a style.
That's important. That's so important. The personalization, the customization, the care that you put into it. Now you've got a new digest.
I do.
You gotta, because I know you've got clients out there. They're like, "Hey, we've been hearing about this new thing that Mimi's coming out here." Talk to us about that a little bit.
What I did was I compiled a lot of information that people have been Googling, trying to Google and figure out, what's going on here, what's going on there. So When it comes to the hair and scalp, I've compiled a whole lot of information into this one digest that you can read up on. It covers stress. It covers hormonal changes. It covers certain medications that you may be on. It covers certain medical conditions that you may be going through. Anything that will affect your hair and scalp, even your nutritions, your vitamins, things of that nature needs to be taken into account into seriousness, because at the end of the day, you may be going through an autoimmune situation that you're not aware of, but you're not familiar with the symptoms. But my digest covers those symptoms. So now you know, just to give you a little bit, now you know you need to stay away from vitamin A, because vitamin A will increase that autoimmune. And when that autoimmune increases even further, you lose even more hair. So we have to be aware of the symptoms. We have to be aware of what's triggering the symptom. And my digest covers all of that. So when I have clients who come into my exam rooms, I call them, and they're asking me and I'm telling them, they're like, oh my God, I never knew that. I say, you know what? I'm going to put together some information so that way you guys can have it and you guys can reflect back on. That way when things change, like let's say you're going through, God forbid, a death of a parent, that affects your hair as well. And now you can go to the stress section and you can see the symptoms. You can see, okay, what is my hair doing? Okay, it's doing this because I went through this stress. My scalp is feeling like this because I had this emotion. So now because I have that emotion and I know it's stressful, I need to stay away from this type of food because that'll only cause even more damage. So my digest covers all of that.
Your digest is what everybody needs to read. That's the Reader's Digest right there. You know, as I'm listening, because I'm starting to put some of the dots together.
Okay.
You're saying not only your nutrition will affect your hair and scalp, that your emotional state, the stress that you're going through, and then also if you're in any kind of disease state that you may or may not be aware of, and you get on certain medications, high blood pressure, you know, diabetes, you know, these type of things, and you wonder like, wow, you know, my hair is falling out. You know, you wake up in the morning, you got hair in your pillow.
Yeah.
You're not sure exactly what. So talk to us about what, in your world, your primary clients, what is your ideal client that you work with?
My ideal client is more so retirement women, business professional women, women that are on medication. I deal with a lot of women like that. Women who have gone through traction alopecia, which means certain styles that they've done has really took a toll on their hair and scalp. I deal with a lot of women like that. Mainly because they have, my words, not theirs, they come to a point in life where their hair is important to them and they need to go somewhere that they know the stylists know what they're doing and they trust them. So with that being said, I always get the, you know, I feel you, Mimi. I feel you. I always get that from them. And, you know, I love it, you know, because honestly, I love what I do. And my goal in life to everyone who surrounds me is to become knowledgeable of what's going on around you or even inside of you. So whatever it is that I have, whatever it is that I know, I share. Because one thing I don't want is someone to fall in a hole and I knew the hole was there and I didn't give you advice on how to deviate around it. That's a pet peeve for me, you know?
Well, let's talk. I want to say something because I've heard it in the news lately. I see it a lot on YouTube, Instagram, things like that. You know, is it okay to have my natural hair? Is it okay to put into some synthetic hair, whether it's a weave or not? You know, is there a time where maybe that's good for a certain period of time, but then you need to take that out? Or talk to us about those different things.
I definitely can talk to you about that. First and foremost, when it comes to these protective stylings with the fibers and the weaves, you have to consider what's going on inside your body. Because your scalp naturally produces a yeast. Okay, it produces a natural yeast. And this natural yeast, if it is not washed out regularly, it builds up. And when it builds up like that, it causes a lot of hair shedding. And when your hair starts shedding in some sort, you don't only get the shedding for that, but let's say you're going through a stressful situation, or let's say they just put you on medication, or let's say you're going through an autoimmune, like spontaneously while this style is in your hair, it's causing even more damage. Hence why any woman, even when you're going through hormonal stages, or even when you're on medication, I always tell my clients, stay away from any pulling styles, any braiding, anything of that nature, because right now you need to stick to treatment, stimulation. Okay, you need to stick to cleansing products, things like that, because if you don't, you'll only increase that natural yeast. It'll just build up and become more. And not only that, whatever side effects from the medication, which is always inflammation, will cause you to want to be looking for processed sugar, candy. And whenever you get to that point where you want that processed sugar, you build even more of that yeast.
Oh.
And it just, you could see it seeping out the follicle. And when it's doing that, it's closing up and your hair's falling out and you lose it forever. So it's a process to it, which all of it is covered in my digest.
Now we need to read up on that. Nobody wants to, like, now you know why your hair is falling out.
Yeah.
And then it's so many things, facets, right?
Yeah.
Things that we have to think about just a little bit,
You
you
do.
know, about everything that we're doing on a daily basis, right? The vitamins and the intake, the
Yes.
nutrition, and then what we're
Yes.
doing to our hair and the environment. Like here in South Florida, we got a lot of sun, a lot of outdoor activities. Certain areas of the country, maybe you're not, you know, especially during the winter, you're not outside as much. You're covering your hair with hats, wigs, things of that nature. Help us with like everyday hair care for the women that you normally serve. What would you tell them?
Well, when it comes to the everyday hair care, one thing is to brush and comb as often as you can, and always utilize a hair product and a scalp product that doesn't coat, because you don't want anything to coat. You want products that penetrate. And when it coats is when you can feel it filmy and sticky. Therefore, it's just giving you manageability at that point, and it's not really doing anything for your hair. And when you finally come to someone like me and I see it, when I strip it, it's not as strong as you thought it was. It's as if you have someone who weighs 95 pounds and they're in Boston, and now they're putting all this coat on them to stay warm. And when they walk in front of you, they look like they're 200 pounds, but when they take all that coat off, they're really 95. So that's the same thing when it comes to hair products. You don't want it to just keep coating your hair. You need to have something that penetrates. Hence why I developed my own hair care product line, because I was tired of using brands that just coat. And this came out within 5 years, like 5 or 10 years of me being in the industry. I was tired of it. And I just developed my own. As I go, I did my own. As I go, I did my own. And then during the pandemic, I was formulating, because I formulate for my clients according to their situation. So I was formulating a product for my client in Africa. Yeah, she's in Africa. And my husband was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm making products for my client in Africa." He said, "Why don't you just bottle it and sell it?" But it never hit me because I'm just doing what I love, you know what I mean? And it just makes sense for me to do what I need to do for my client at that moment. I wasn't thinking about selling and putting it in the market. I didn't want that. Anyways, with the way that I have it now, it would never go on the market because we customize as we go. We don't just mass produce. We don't mass produce. So at this point, when you order, you fill out a form. With that form, we customize your product and it's sent to you fresh.
Wow. Yeah. So you're getting really special hair care.
Yes.
I love the fact. And your business is called SS Hair?
SS Hair Care.
sshaircare.com.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right. So people can go there. Now, when I went to your website, I seen a lot there. It's not like, you know, I used to go to a barber. I can do my own. I won't talk about my hair loss.
It looks glorious.
I'll take that. But you go to your site and you've got a lot there. You've got courses there. You've got information there. Talk to us about what the experience of working with you is like.
Oh my God. My girls love it. They come in. I've hired licensed stylists. I've hired kids from school. They love it. because they learn. Some of them say, I learned more working with you than I did at school. And I say, well, that's the point. Hence my passion to open my SS Hair Care Advanced Training Academy, which is fully accredited, by the way. So any course that you take within SS Hair Care, it's fully accredited. We also have a trichology course where licensed cosmetology can learn the field of trichology and become better with their client and servicing them in their hair and scalp care as well. So we have that. So all the knowledge that I've gained throughout the 31 years in everything, it's packed into the trichology course for the licensed cosmetologists or anyone else who would want to study trichology. And they love it. When they come into work, they learn a lot, and they're awe-stricken because they never knew this would do this, or if they put this shampoo, they have to know how to shampoo the hair. There's women who are on medication. It causes their hair to become weak. They got to know how to shampoo that hair. So they learn a lot. It's not just, they're like, with Mimi, it's not just shampoo. We got to know. So when they come in to work with me, every employee that is hired within my company goes through a course. Mm-hmm. You learn the basics of shampooing and roller setting and blow drying. And you learn it in a way where you're studying the person's hair and scalp. So that way you can know how to apply the shampoo, how long you would leave that shampoo, how to customize that shampoo, where to put this roller, how can it affect the hair? Because there's certain areas in the head that's inflamed. Where would you put this roller so it doesn't cause even more breakage? So it's things like this that you'll learn in my academy if you ever decide to take a course. But when you're employed by me, you have to take the foundational course. That's required.
That is so interesting. I want to ask you this.
Yes.
Because you said something earlier in our interview process. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people are going through a disease state. Let's say you had cancer and you're on chemo, right? Mm-hmm. And you're losing your hair. Mm-hmm. How do you advise clients that this is an experience they're going through, something different, it's something new, and then, over time, the hair does begin to grow back? Talk to us about that kind of experience.
Well, going through chemotherapy, it is what it is. Like I told my clients, it is what it is. Right now, we need to give yourself some grace and know that this is a process, okay? They've invented wigs for situations like this. We're going to focus on the health. And when we're done with all the chemo and the doctor give clearance, we'll go into the follicle stimulating. So we can start stimulating the follicle again so that way it can start pushing up the hair. So I always tell my clients, just breathe. It is what it is. And we just need to be grateful for life at this point. The hair part, I got it. Once we get the clearance, I got it. This is what I tell them. We'll be good. But I've had clients, like I told you, I'm on 6 generations now. I've had clients who've been through chemo. I've had clients who've been through radiation, and they tell me, like, Mimi, and my front desk always, when the clients come in, they're always checking in because we need to know if you've had any anesthesia. We need to know if there's any change in your medication, because right when you go into the room, we need to start formulating your shampoo. We need to start formulating your mask. And we need to start formulating your aftercare, your after service products as well, so that way we can style your hair effectively, so that way it can sustain and hold strength for the next 2 weeks till we see you again. Wow. So things like this is very, very, it's very important. And I want to let every chemotherapy woman know out there, it's part of the process. It is what it is. Some women don't lose their hair. Some women do. But we just need to be grateful for life at this point.
100%
give
on
yourself
that.
some grace. Yeah.
And then look for specialists.
Definitely.
Like
you
yourself.
have to. You have to.
You're a subject matter expert in this area. I'm learning so much. I never, like, my mother has gone to the same hairstylist since I've been on this planet. That's her Friday, 2 o'clock.
I believe you.
Don't even, that's booked.
Yeah.
But she has trusted her over a long, and if I look back at that, I'm like, her hair has always been very consistent. And to your point earlier, like you said, you're used to someone that knows you, that really understands, and then understands the different periods of life that you're in over time. Because I see people all the time, like once they choose a stylist, they kind of stay. They stay there. What I'm getting from you is that, but you can help people on so many levels not just the basic everyday hairstyling, but the skin, the scalp, all the dermat. Just talk to us a little bit more about your how your shop is so special, and there are very few like you, I think, in the country.
Yeah. Like I said, we designed it in a way. When I saw that in the field, when I started early on in the field, and I saw that these women love their hair. They're consistent with this, like your mom. Like they're consistent. And I always tell my employees, I'm like, they come here because they trust that we will give them 100%. And because of that, I said, we need to make this more than just a salon. They need to trust us as much as they trust their doctors. So this is where my trichology clinic came into play. So the setting was already there. I have the rooms. Everyone has their individual rooms. And now with my background in, holistic health practitioning and, giving clients certain foods, to take vitamins, to check in with their nutritionist to see if that's okay with them, things of that nature. When I start building it together like that, I'm like, okay, we need to do something. And my employees need to be as serious as I am. So that way, when my clients come in here, they come in here with their eyes closed. Like they come to their doctor's office. Like, he got my blood. He knows my readings. So that's how we are. We even do hair analysis tests because there's some point where a woman would reach. It's still not doing what it needs to do when it comes to the hair and scalp. At this point, we need to conduct a hair analysis test. Based on my years of experience, I've boiled it down to a elimination process. And usually by the second or third elimination process, we figured out what it is, and then we continue on. But by the fourth, I don't play around with it. I'm like, we need to do a hair analysis test. I don't want to know your doctor's blood work because the blood work, it doesn't give me years of what's going on. The blood work just gives me what's going on now. So the hair analysis test will give me like 6-7 months back, because whatever happened then is still affecting what's going on now. So with that hair analysis test, we test arsenic, lead, magnesium, copper levels, zinc, things of that nature. And all of that it's thorough. To me, it's thorough. So when the client comes in for their consultation, I take it step by step. And usually I put them on a 3-month plan. And if that 3-month plan, I don't see the results that I'm looking for, then I'm like, okay, we need to do a hair analysis test.
I got to ask this question.
Yes.
Because it's on my mind. I got to go there.
Yes.
Is there a difference? And I know physically, looking at a black woman's hair as opposed to other races' hair, there's a physical difference. You can see that. But is there differences in how you have to take care of their, do the different things like you do in the hair analysis that you see in black women? And are you predominantly, are your clients, women of color? Or are they different? Are they all over? But what are you seeing differences in hair types?
Honestly, when it comes to the hair types, it's the physical. The curly, the straight, the thick, the thin, there's the Caucasian women, there's the Chinese women. I've serviced them all. African American, I've serviced them all. But when it comes down to the insides, they're all doing the same thing. They're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, hair is hair.
Hair is hair, blood is blood, skin is skin.
Hair is hair. We are hearing this from the experts, right? Hair is hair. Before we wrap up, because this has been very informative. I tell you, it's been very informative. We, told the audience, hey, first of all, I encourage them to go to your site.
Yeah.
Obviously, get information about what's going on.
The digest is very, especially for the women who are like, I don't know what's going on. I've been using XYZ. They told me that this was good. The doctor took a piece of my scalp. And, this, that, and the third. Before you go spend another penny, go get the digest. Read it. Familiarize yourself. I even have like a 4-question quiz after each reading just so you could check your knowledge, you know? You don't have to pass it. Of course, if you get it wrong, God forbid, it's not that hard. But if you get it wrong, it'll tell you what the right answer is. But I want my women to be knowledgeable of what's going on the inside. I want you to be aware of the symptoms. I want you to be aware of what certain foods can do. And right when you see the symptoms, and to stay away from certain foods that will increase the symptoms, because then it'll increase the problem. So get the digest, read it, make it like your blueprint to your hair and scalp. That way you're not stuck on buying this product. You know what's going on with your body. And now you'll be able to be like, I really don't need this on my hair. I need this in my body. So that way when I use this on my hair, it's effective.
This is important because my daughter, she has wavy, curly hair. And of course, being her dad and the single parent, I'm like clueless, right? I'm like, I go in there and I see some hair product. Here you go.
Yeah.
That's it. So she's going trial and error. So I could have just referred her to you.
And I would have told her, no, let's stop. Let's clear all this off your hair. Let me see what's going on with your strands. Because when they come to me, even if it's not a consultation, like I tell you, I love what I do. I'll pull them in my exam room and I'll take out my scope. I call it my scope. I'll take out my scope and I'll look at their hair. I'll look at their scalp. And I'll know if, okay, you've been eating too much sugar. You need to calm down on the sugar. Because it don't matter what you use, the sugar is overpowering the texture of the hair. And it's affecting the health of the scalp. And a lot of women who are also on medication, just to give you a thing here, a lot of women who are on medication don't realize, even if you're going through hormonal changes, they don't realize that these processed sugars are affecting your immune system. Because it's going into your blood, your bone marrow. And when it does, it weakens your immune system. And when it does, you get a lot of breakage, which is what a lot of women go through, So on top of that, you're dealing with that. And then you're dealing with the medication issue. Then you're dealing with the hormonal changes issue. So sometimes you just got to tweak something a little bit in order for you to get an effective result on the outside.
You just sugar. Just how much sugar are we consuming in our diet?
Daily, it's a mess. And this is why even in my digest, it introduces women to a fasting. Because I always tell my women, I don't know if people are believers or not, but we all know the story of when Christ fasted 40 days and 40 nights. And I always tell people, there's a significance behind this. I don't think it's more so spiritual, which it was, but I think it's more so physical because the creator knew what he was creating and he knew what was going to come. So there's a lot of power in fasting. It allows your body to regenerate, your cells to just clean itself up from all these processed foods and things of that nature. So I always tell my women, don't kill yourself. Do your fast. At the end of your fast, eat your protein. And whatever it is that's in your body that don't belong, the fast will get rid of it. And you'll slowly see you'll stop craving these things that's contributing to the disease that's already forming in your body.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. We've got to get a hold of that.
Yeah, we do.
The excess sugar.
Yeah.
Excess salt that is already prevalent, especially in the American diet. And then we're not offsetting this. One thing I noticed, and I'll say this one last thing before we get out of here, is that you got to drink a lot of water.
You do.
All right?
And people don't understand half your body weight in ounces is what you need. Yeah, you need that. Anything under that, your body's not getting enough.
Got to get enough water. Yeah. I know in South Florida, we get a lot of heat. I drink a lot because of the hydration. Yeah. But I've been in other parts of the country and they're drinking more teas, coffees, cocoa, just sodas, other stuff other than just water. Just water.
Simple water.
Itself. Yeah.
Simple water. Yeah. Alkaline water is even the best. It helps with inflammation. So simple, like lemon in your water is enough, Yeah. That helps with inflammation. Again, triggered by sugar, stress, lack of sleep. So I tell people, you go through that daily stress like a sleep. So just make it alkaline water and just be safe. Lemon and water. That's it.
I tell you, we've gone full circle here.
We
and
have.
I want to make sure the audience gets this. Like, we're not just talking hair here. It is hair is the byproduct.
Yes, it is.
But all these other things behind it, and what you're doing on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, is contributing to your beautiful appearance.
It does. It does.
Right?
It does. It does.
So before we keep going, how do they get in touch with you? Because I know you got more than just this website. They can come and see you.
Yes, you guys can come to my location. The address is 9959 Pines Boulevard. It's on Pembroke Pines, Florida. And the zip code is 33024. We are open Tuesday to Saturdays. Our office number is 754-888-9485. And give us a call. Sometimes through a simple conversation, a simple hello, a situation, I can just give you a quick, okay, let's do this. But forgive me, my clinic stays busy. So I try my best to do everyone, but it's best if you come see us. It's really best if you come see us because at the end of the day, everything starts at the hair. The hair and the scalp tells a story before the doctor can see it in the blood.
That is so different because you're getting this medical attention as well as just, hair care.
Yeah.
It's just a full vacuum of everything that you need, for yourself, right?
It is.
Right?
That's how come being a licensed cosmetologist, I tell people, is cherry on top. But being a board certified holistic practitioner and a trichologist, it's what I need in order to fulfill the anointing that I have, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And the one thing I always ask my guests, especially at the end of the show, and it's impromptu, but you got to let my audience know this and your audience as well.
Okay.
How did you feel about this interview?
I loved it. I think I got everything. I think what I wanted to share and make people aware of, we got it out there.
That's what it's about, right?
Yeah, we got it out there. And that's exactly what it's about. All in one sitting.
Well, I tell you, this has been wonderful. I want to encourage your entire audience, obviously, to tune into all the episodes of Follow Brand. They can go get so much information.
Yes.
That's at the number 5. That is STAR, STAR, BDM. That's for B for brand, D for development, infomasters.com. I want to thank you again, Mimi, so much for being on the Follow Brand
amazing.
podcast. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Beautiful.
All right.